Hello, hello. I believe I am live. Let me just make sure. Let me. Hello, everyone. Live. Join me. Okay. Hi, is live? Let me know if you're here live. I'm just going to give you all a little second to come and join me because I know that it doesn't always tell you straight away. Hi, Anne. You're here quick. Thank goodness. That was fast. Nice to see you. How's life? How's your day been? I am just going to give everybody a little minute to come and join us. I'm just going to have some water, get all my stuff together. So, it's lovely to see everybody. Hi, Natalie. How's life? How was your day? It's lovely to have you all here. So, I started the live session bang on tonight because yesterday Facebook wouldn't play ball. It wouldn't let me go live. So I was on a wee bit earlier tonight and it actually worked. So it's all good in the hood. It's nice to see everybody. So if you're watching live, let me make sure you say hello. Let me say, or let me see you in the comments. Let me just make sure I can see. Oh, good, I can see them tonight. Sometimes Facebook lets me see. Sometimes it's like having a crystal ball. Doesn't always work. I am also, and I just want to get today's stuff out so that I can see. It's been a bit hectic at work, but you had your crystal next to you, so you were able to go to your sanctuary for a breather. Nice. I love that. So practical application of the stuff you're doing. Hey, Anna. I love that you're actually putting that in place and really um, allowing yourself to go to your sanctuary when you need to. This is the whole thing about this work. It's not just let's do it in the morning, tick the box and move on. It's about bringing it into your day. So I love that, Anne. I love that that really helped. Hey Leslie, lovely to speak to you tonight. Nice to see you. I've just read your experience in the Facebook group. So I'm just actually opening Facebook in another tab here so that I can read all your comments properly and have them in front of me so that I can see everything. It's like having 16 tabs open at once. We've got loads of questions today, which is really good, and really good, deep questions too, which I'm really, really excited to answer. So it's really, really nice. But let me have a wee look at everybody's stuff from today and we'll dive straight in. Today was all about releasing energy. Hey, Joanne. Hey, Wendy. Hey, Lynn. Who else have we got? We've got Leslie, Lynn, Wendy, Anna, Natalie, Anne, Joanne, Wendy. I think I've said everybody. Hey, Lisa. So lovely to have you all here. Let me know in the comments how your day has been. So let me know um, if you've managed to do today's task and how you're feeling. If you did it and you felt nice and light this morning, are you still feeling that tonight? Let me know how your day has been. Anne has already let us know that she had a hectic day in work, but she was able to keep, she had her crystal nearby that she used as her anchor last night in her sanctuary. So she was able to revisit her sanctuary for moments at a time today to ground herself. So that's always really, really good. Hey Jenny. Hey Caroline. Nice to see you all. I am loving that you guys are all coming out to play tonight. It's all good fun. Nice to have you all here. You loved starting your morning with a bit of fire, and oh, absolutely. Gotta love a wee bit of fire. It's all good. It's all good. So you can let me know, folks, in the comments if you haven't already, how your day has been, how you're feeling. I'm just going to take a wee quick look at today's task. So today's task was all about making a decision as to how you wanted to release the energy. Did you want to, um, did you want to have use fire? Did you want to use water, earth, air, whatever you wanted? Lynn says, I'll be setting aside some time for me and doing the task later. I love that. Really good. And it's important that you do that. Hi, Trish. Really nice to have everybody here. I am surrounded by tech tonight because I'm trying to answer questions. So I've got my tablet beside me here and I've got the comments going on on my phone. Let's see how we go. Hi, Linda. Um, I have loved the fact that everybody who took part, everybody who's done the task already has noticed that feeling of lightness. We're going to do a little more releasing tonight. So if you haven't done it already, you'll get a chance to release some tonight as well. And then you can obviously go back and revisit. All the tasks have been designed to try, and they do kind of follow in order in that, you know, the sanctuary and the creating your new I am presence to let you feel that expansiveness, to try and start to push that old energy out so that we can move it and we don't need it anymore. But today's was about getting rid of stuff and trying to tap into the eclipse energy that's going on at the minute so that we can really start to cleanse, clear, declutter. And you might be called to do that physically, you might be called to do that emotionally, spiritually, energetically, lots of different ways. So that's what we're all doing today. And use fire and the meditation. I love it. Caroline says, feel either a fire or breath work later. Beautiful meditation and journaling this morning. Good. Definitely tapped into your sanctuary space. Angels really connected with you this morning. I love that, Caroline. Good, Anne. You've downloaded the meditation so you can revisit them. I suggest everybody does that. Download them so that you keep them for as long as you need. Be a quick tap in now and we'll have an hour later. Awesome, Caroline. No worries at all. So, I just really, the intention for tonight is to clear the space to allow ourselves just to really find our most powerful sovereign selves and about really letting go fully. Okay, but before we step into that, what I want to do is have a wee look at what you've all said today. So I'm just going to have a quick look. So, Anne, you had an amazing session. You said your energy before the practice felt really heavy, like pressure, and afterwards it was like a weight was lifted. Felt like you could breathe and felt much lighter. Lots of emotions, and you went for fire. I love that as well. You held yourself better. You didn't hunch. What I have to say is what I noticed when I was reading through everybody's earlier. Many of you mentioned really heavy energy at the start, which then transformed into those feelings of lightness and freedom and empowerment. And a lot of you did mention, you know, emotional releases too, like tears or having heart chakra releases, physical sensations as well. I think Denise had mentioned lightheadedness and her tummy gurgling and some nausea. And those really indicate those deep energetic shifts, which is really, really important. Quite a few of you decided to go for the fire. Told you I found my people, which is really good because fire is very symbolic about burning away the old. And we're actually going to use an activation, a visualization tonight using fire in a meditation space. Quite a few of you, I noticed, were talking about physical and postural changes, a shift in how you were holding yourself, standing taller, feeling bigger, feeling more embodied. And that really suggests to me that it's much deeper integration than just mental or emotional level. It's actually starting to be embodied, which is brilliant. I love, 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 love. And I love that so many of you added in your empowerment declarations, really full of confidence, clarity, and strength. And so many of you had expressed, I had one or two private messages as well about how today's task actually felt life changing. And that really moved me. It was like, my goodness, something something that I almost take for granted sometimes, because I do this work all the time. I forget how powerful it can be. So it's really lovely to see that. So yes, loved reading yours this morning. And Caroline had said, oh, the freedom, which was lovely. Denise had said about a powerful experience. She had tired, heavy energy. She did the meditation rather than doing any rituals. And it, as I say, it was Denise that said she was lightheaded, nauseous. But then she came round, she felt more alert, less weighed down, really powerful and ready to deal with anything that came her way. So, what a way to start the day, huh? Joanne felt liberated and refreshed. Trish said, a very healing and cathartic day. I feel light and free. I love that. And you went for your walk around Castlewellan Park this morning, and even though you're only 5'2", you felt as tall as the trees. I love that. But that's a beautiful embodiment. Yeah, such a wonderful feeling. That's so nice. So, so nice. Step forward with conviction and truth, ready to shine brighter and bigger. Yes. Yes. Joanne got a symbol, like a sovereign with three legs attached to be a bit like the Isle of Man. And she's going to have a look and see if she can find it. And Leslie, you watched last night's session this morning, and when a wall came down in your sanctuary, you got the word expectations. Oh, interesting. Not a word that you've considered before, but it holds so much. You've been thinking about it today as you were out and about and realised the weight of the expectations I carry. It's massive. That's massive. Expectations from others, expectations from yourself about how you live, about how to act, behave, love, grieve, respond in every role. That's such a powerful thing, Leslie. I'm really, I'm so pleased that you had that experience. And it's a good conversation starter tonight about, what are the expectations that the world puts on you? Yeah. And is it time that we release those? Is it time that we shifted those out of the way? As you say, the list is endless obligations that you put on yourself, but other people put on you too, and then not appreciating yourself. So I'm really pleased, Leslie, that resulted in emotional journaling for you, helping you um, find what you want to release. And you did a fire ritual as well. So really, really lovely. You feel lighter, freer, and calm. Stunning. Stunning energy. Let me have a quick check of the comments. Jenny says, after the meditation in which I used crystals, I was so tired and slept for an hour and 30 minutes. Good. Let me just see if I can get the rest of it here. Um, you woke, you felt good, you had a lot of cords to cut and healing, and you loved it, being an angel meditation because you've been working with them a lot recently. I love that. I love that that's really helpful for you. So good stuff. Um, so lots of questions have come in today. I am really excited. What I'm going to do, if it's okay with you all, is I'm going to answer those questions, and we'll have a bit of a conversation. I also want to talk about why we're doing what we're doing tonight, and then we'll, towards the end of the session, do what we did last night and go into a nice sort of guided meditation style activation, and we'll release anything else that needs to go. So I want you to be having a wee think about: is there anything that's circulating that you want to be letting go of? Yeah, because it's really, really important. Maybe there's been one thing today, and you can let me know in the comments. Is there something that you really feel that you're letting go of today? Feel free to share with me in the comments. Is there something? Anne says, my crystal has been working hard for me lately, so I've now placed it in my selenite bowl to give it a good cleanse. Good job. It's really important. If you are using crystals, make sure to do that. Make sure that you're keeping them nicely cleansed and looked after. Lots of crystal resources in the hub as well for people. Um, we hold on to an awful lot of energy. We really do hold on to an awful lot of energy. And I'd love to know for you guys, where Leslie, I think, expressed it really well with regards to the expectations and the obligations that are put on. But where do you find yourself holding on to energy? Where do you find yourself playing small? Where do you find yourself holding yourself in and trapping yourself with this energy? Because when old energy lingers, it really holds us back. Yeah. Um, and you've let go of comparisonitis, but you've got more stuff to release. So what else needs to be released? What else would you like to let go of? Because it's really important that we let that go. Comparisonitis is a big one. Comparing yourself to other people. We talked about that a little bit last night, that it's the thief of joy. Um, it's really nice to be inspired by other people, but when we start to compare ourselves to other people, it tends to take on a more negative connotation, because invariably we see them as, you know, better than us or whatever, or we step into a judgy space of we're better than them or they're better than us. And that's not a nice energy to sit in. So letting go of comparisonitis is a fabulous thing to do. It is a fabulous thing to do. I don't know what it is about us humans. We feel the need to label things, don't we? Yeah, we feel the need to have specific labels on stuff. Natalie says, yeah, it's a big one for most people in this space. It really is. It really is. And I don't even think it's just this space. I work with a lot of artists as well. And I'm in a lot of artists' communities. And in the art world, we as artists, compare ourselves an awful lot to other people. And it's like you're always comparing your work to someone else's. And I had a big lesson recently where someone approached me for a project, and I immediately was like, oh, I'm not good enough to do that. And she said, no, I've chosen you specifically. It has to be your work. And we had a whole conversation, and it's resulted in a nice collaboration. So it's really, really important that we honor that, and that we don't compare ourselves to other people. And I still hold on to the fear of being seen, as on videos or lives. Your body dysmorphia plays a part in that. Yeah, I hear you. And that's a big thing to work through. Um, I remember I remember whenever I used to have no issue going live on my Facebook page, my business page, but I couldn't go live on my profile, on my personal profile. I wouldn't go live on there. And whenever my business mentor told me that, I needed that the business page wasn't really getting any activity because the way Facebook's set up now, it activates profiles more than pages. So she had encouraged me to make my personal profile public and to turn it on to professional. And it was like the fear. I was like, oh no, I can't do that. There's no way. And gradually I got over it. And I remember I had a VIP day with a confidence coach, and spent some time working through it with him, and was like, look, and he says, what do you think's going to happen? And I was like, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to disturb people if I go live, or you know and he was like, they can just scroll past, like, get over yourself. You're not, you're not that important. And I was like, oh, thanks for that. But it really made me think. And then the more I did it, the easier it got. So it is a little bit like that. But yeah, that's something, Anne, that can most definitely can be worked through. And Natalie, you're right, it does. It holds you back if you compare. It absolutely holds you back if you compare, because as I said last night, we tend to compare ourselves unfavorably to other people. Yeah, we tend to really do ourselves down, and then that little negative critic starts to chat. But as Natalie said to you there, and you are beautiful. We all have a beautiful soul. We all have beautiful, faces, whether they're aesthetically society pleasing or not. That's irrelevant. It's about us recognizing the love and the beauty inside ourselves. And I think when we step into that I am presence and that soulful light, and we start to see that beautiful light shining out of our faces, that's beautiful. It doesn't matter what size, shape, color, sex, whatever, it doesn't matter about any of it. Wendy says we're taught from an early age to compare ourselves with others. Unfortunately, that's true. And I think the educational system doesn't help in that respect, in that we have, you know, we have so much, the kids being tested from such a young age, and like, pitting themselves against each other, who's better or worse, who's got what grade, and it's a difficult one, but I think it's about us going easier on ourselves, because it starts with us. It starts with us, and then it starts with us rippling that out. Um, Lynn, I judge myself now against myself 20 years ago and what I was able to achieve and contribute professionally and financially, as I'm no longer working. And this is the thing, we do this too. And again, have a think about that. Despite having the time to do so and have so many more things that I could not have 20 years ago. Yeah. I mean, we what I really want people to do, and really to encourage you all to do, is to notice when this comes up. Notice when this comparisonitis comes up. Notice whenever this energy that we're holding on to comes up, these things that we're attracting into our energy field and that we're holding, and it kind of starts to block us, right? And then we start to judge ourselves, and the critic starts. What I would like us to be able to do is to notice when it happens, and to ask a question of, is that true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? And we can start to deconstruct this chitter and chatter that goes on. Yeah, we can start to pull back. My favorite thing at the minute is to really begin to disconnect, not in a disassociation way, in a negative way, but to in an empowered way, to step back off that front line of our mind, and off that chatter, and off that comparisonitis, and lean back into that I am presence, that big expansive presence that you created yesterday in your sanctuary, and that you anchored in last night during the session last night, where you anchored that, and you find your anchor, is to lean into that. And from that space, then we can look objectively at these thoughts that, oh, you're not good enough, or you should be doing this, or you should be doing that. And we can see maybe where they're coming from, particularly if it's something that we think we should be doing. Again, it's those obligations and expectations that Leslie had mentioned in her experience today. And we can take a look and objectively journal on them, work with our coach on them, bring them into the circle and chat about them, work through it with our cards, lots of different things, and from that space, it really makes a big difference. Um, Wendy says we have to have love and compassion for ourselves, and know we are enough just as we are, and we are worthy just as we are. And I think when you start to really remember who you are, and remember that you're a spark of source energy, of the God light, of creator, of universe, whatever you want to call it, that you are that sovereign spirit, you are the creator of all things, expressing itself as you. It's pretty damn special. Yeah, it's pretty damn special. Nothing to judge. We hold that in that space of love and compassion. Jenny, I have to stop feeling responsible for everyone else's happiness. Absolutely, because you can't be responsible for everyone else's happiness. The only person you can be responsible for is yourself. Likewise, we can't control everyone else. Yeah, we cannot control anybody else. We can only control ourselves. We can only be responsible for our own happiness. In fact, it's our ultimate job and responsibility to manage our energy, to manage our consciousness, to actively work on being happy, actively work on loving ourselves, actively work on improving the quality of our energy. It's one of the very first steps that we do. It's one of the first things I do with any of my one-to-one clients as well. I have a framework I take people through on a one-to-one basis, framework I take people through in the groups, in the circle, different things that we work through. And a lot of that is very much about learning to love ourselves and care for ourselves and learning to realize that we can only be responsible for ourselves. And when you take that pressure off your shoulders, it's amazing. It's amazing. Natalie says usually the first thing our spirit guides and angels want us to know is that we are loved and worthy of love. Yes, I can, if I can remember exactly what I said. I'll probably not say it the same way again, Lynn, but yes, basically we are inside. When you lean into that I am presence, you're leaning into that God, creator, sovereign, universe, source energy, which means that you are the creator. You are the sovereign divine energy expressing itself as you. Yeah. There's nothing higher than that. What on earth could we compare to that? It means that we have all the love, we have all the knowledge, we have all the ability, we have all the energy, we have everything that we need inside us. And we are that God energy, that sovereign spirit expressing itself as us, which means at a very, very high level, we are all one, which means what we say and do to ourselves, we say and do to someone else. Often, when I'm in teaching Reiki, I would often say, and one of the principles is just for today, I'll be kind to all living things. And that means you. And I would say, do you speak to others the way you would speak to yourself? And everybody goes, oh no. And I'm like, well, the fact that at a higher level of awareness, we are all one by speaking badly to yourself, by judging yourself harshly, by holding yourself in a negative light, you're actually then doing that to other people because energetically, that's what you're doing. And it always causes a few shocked faces, and they're like, oh, I didn't think of it that way. It's interesting. But let's have a think about energetics and the energetics that we're because of bringing our conversation back to today for a little minute. You know, old energy tends to linger around us through the weight of obligations, expectations, unfinished emotions. Yeah, unprocessed feelings where we've stuffed things down into a box. Yeah. Um, John says, I got a sovereign ring. See that this is how spirit communicates in different ways. So sovereign, just reminding you might have got a sovereign ring as a symbol, but it reminds you that you are the sovereign, which feeds into the question you asked, when will I ever be free? And Joanne, you're free whenever you choose to be free because you're sovereign. It's not something that is given to you. You choose it. You make a decision. Yeah, Natalie, we're not separate from the source and creation. We are the creators. We're the creators of our own reality. It's really, really important. But yeah, this old energy lingers, unfinished emotions, fear of the unknown, because when we let go, yeah, when we let go of this energy that we've clung so tightly to, then it opens the door for new things, and we don't know what that new thing's going to be. Like, be a wee bit scary. We might define ourselves. We might get quite attached to our story of our struggle. Yeah, so our identity becomes tied up in that energy that we're playing, that we've been used to saying. So it could be, that we identify so strongly with the XYZ, with the, you know, the bereaved person, the chronically ill person, the person who's had everything happen to them, whatever it is that has happened in your life, you sometimes wrap yourself up in that identity, like in the same way as you wrap yourself up in the identity of a job or a career that you have. So it's like we identify that way. And it's about what about we stop telling ourselves that story and we release that? And that can be kind of hard. I actually have a grief recovery specialist coming into the circle on Monday night, Monday the 10th. And she's going to help us with that concept in particular, along with other types of grief where we let go of things, particularly if we change in jobs or we're letting go of stuff. We have to have a moment of grief. I'll give you an example. Earlier this year, I've been a volunteer with St John Ambulance for 7 years. And earlier this year, I made a decision to take a step back and to essentially step down from my role. I did have a chuckle today though, because I have been signed on as still emergency ambulance crew. So my role is still valid for another year. So I think that the boss is hoping I'll come back and, never say never. But I had to make a very tough decision to step down because I just simply couldn't give. I am one of these people, I'm either all in or all out. I can't be doing half measures. So for me, I had to grieve the identity of the volunteer, of the ambulance crew. I had to grieve the ego boost of being, an emergency services worker, of being able to be on blue lights, being able to go into places where other people can't go, to be able to do the things, be able to have the inside track in what was happening whenever there was events on and all that sort of stuff. I had to grieve the loss of that identity. And I cried for days whenever I made the decision. And then I took it into the art studio and I painted a picture that I've called My Heart Will Always Wear Green, because it will. I will always be a volunteer in here. And I never say never that I wouldn't go back. It's just at this minute in time, I can't give all of myself to it. And that pulls me back. And I needed to work through that. But I could have easily hung on to that identity for ages and never made the decision. And that would have held me back. It would have kept me playing small. Does that make sense? Yes, Lynn, the grief session is going to be fabulous on Monday night. It's a members only thing. So I'm going to give you all the opportunity to join if you want. So don't panic. If you want in, you can join. You can join. Um, I'll be talking to you a little bit about that tomorrow night, and I would urge you to come in if you want, not just for obviously that session, but for everything else that's in there. But I'll tell you more about what's in the circle tomorrow night. The other reason my old energy lingers in our bodies is that, um, you know, it imprints in certain areas, and yoga teachers will often say the issues in the tissue, it goes into your body, but it can also be held in your sacral, it can be held in your heart, it can be held in your throat. How many of you, let me know how many of you feel a tightening around your throat sometimes when you go to speak up? Or if you're going to start talking about spirituality or things, you kind of get a bit tongue tied, or you maybe feel a little bit frightened, and you maybe feel the solar plexus going. Let me know if that resonates with any of you. Because quite often that can be the witch wound coming in, particularly the throat. Because so many of us carry that collective pain of that female, not just females, there was many male witches put to death as well, but primarily there was a lot of women, and the fear of speaking up is a massive one that comes up in a lot of people's throats. So how do we know if we've released something? Well, usually if we know we've released something, we feel really energetic and we feel lighter and freer and all that sort of stuff going on, right? But if you haven't, if you're still feeling, yeah, so that resonates, that throat and heart thing, yeah. If you haven't really fully released something, you quite often will find that you still feel drained or stuck in a loop. Yeah. Or you'll have those physical symptoms like really tight shoulders or headaches or pain in your body. Yeah. Or you'll maybe find that you've got digestive issues, or it can eventually manifest into longer term illness, repeating patterns, the same stuff happening over and over and over and over again. Now, the part of that is healing in that we're doing like the spiral and we're moving upwards each time, learning deeper lessons each time. But there's also times whenever we are simply just going around in circles and we're not actually learning anything. We're repeating it over and over and over again. And that can be a sign that we haven't let something go. We haven't healed. Yeah. Lisa, you've been feeling stuck in the throat area for a long time. Yeah. So there's lots of different reasons. And I know you asked a question today, so I'm going to get to that in a wee minute. But I just, sometimes we have this inner resistance to moving forward, even whenever you want to. So I would invite you to reflect on maybe where in your life you feel that you're carrying extra weight energetically that doesn't belong to you anymore. How do we think about that? Because it might just help. I'm just going to look, I've got my tablet in front of me for today's questions. So I'm going to drop in and answer these questions because they were really, really good. There was loads of them. Let me know how you're feeling in the, give me a one if you're still with me, and you're feeling okay. Natalie, when I'm releasing blocks in the throat, I usually burp. Yeah, a lot of people will burp. I see people swallow lots during Reiki or during clearing sessions. Yeah. And as you get your throat and your stomach. Yeah. Okay. But I love it, Natalie. I love the burp. That's going to be fun in healing sessions. Big burps. Do you get it for your client or do you just get it for you? Good enough. Good stuff. You're still with me and seeing a couple of ones dropping in. Good stuff. So I'm going to answer some of your questions. If you have any more questions as they come up, drop them in into the chat tonight, and I'll look in. So Lisa, so there's two Lisas. Lisa Curtis Edwards was the person who asked this one. Lisa had said, I listen and listen, but can't seem to move from this energy that I'm in. And then she'd said about being stuck and she feels she should be further on. So, what I want to say to you, Lisa, is first of all, thank you so much for showing up and continuing to engage because sometimes whenever you feel stuck, it can be tempting to just give up and go, nah, I'm not doing it. This isn't working. So that in itself is a powerful indicator that your energy is wanting to expand and that you're wanting to move forward. So you're not maybe as stuck as you believe you are. You're actually probably moving forward further than you think. Okay. Um, Sometimes when we feel energetically stuck, it's not really about us needing to push forward. It's more about allowing something else to shift. So sometimes the more we push forward, the more resistance we feel. And that is just pure science, right? It's just physics. For every forward motion, for every momentum, there has to be equal and opposite reaction. So there's going to be a resistance. So quite often I would say when you feel a lot of resistance, it's actually a big indication that you are moving forward. Yeah, that you're moving things forward. So sometimes we just need to step into a space of allowing, and it's like a space of surrender. Because when we're stuck, we tend to want to keep pushing. And it's a little bit like, do you imagine like being stuck in the mud, being stuck in like a sticky, muddy place? And the more you try and struggle, the deeper you get stuck in. Whereas if you just relax and allow yourself just to breathe and take your time, it's easier for you to start stepping forward and moving from it and getting the help. Yeah. So little micro movements as well. So, if it's physical tasks and things that you're getting stuck with, then, when you're procrastinating or anything like that, because I know someone else asked about procrastination, little micro moves, you know, um, it can be, breaking things down into smaller steps and just allowing yourself a little bit more grace. Um, if your energy's not shifting, sometimes we need to move our bodies. Sometimes we need to like physically shake off the energy. Qigong's a great one for that, shaking off that energy, maybe moving your body into dance. One of our circle members does ecstatic dance and she really talks about how that really helps. Yoga's really good, somatic yoga, qigong, things like that. Even just getting out for a walk, going for a run, doing something that moves your body will often move your energy because the more we feel that we're stuck, sometimes we let our bodies get stuck too. So if we can move our body, that then helps our mind and our emotions and our energy then follow. And you know what else you could try as well is to have a conversation with the stuckness. Get your journal out and ask your resistance, what are you protecting me from? Because sometimes stuck is a hidden fear or a subconscious block that's holding you back. And then once you shine the light of awareness on it, then once you bring it out of the shadow and shine the light onto it, then you can start to do something about it. And remember as well that it's okay to not be continually moving forward. We have to have those moments of pause. Okay, so let me know if that helps answer that question a little bit. And also getting support and help is massive as well. Um, Susan said, I'm recently divorced, struggling to let go of the past. Today's meditation helped. Any other tips? And I know that I got some messages as well to say that this was quite powerful for you, Susan, and for a lot of the work that you were doing today. Cutting cords, more clearing cords rather than cutting, but Michael in our meditation, for those of you who did the meditation, was clearing the cords for us today. It's such a powerful practice, and the more regularly you do that, the more it will help, and it will continue to do that. But don't forget as well, you have the ability to pull back your power. So sometimes what I like to do is I will cleanse and clear anything that's been put on me, any attachments, that any expectations, any roles, any obligations, any energy that has been put on me that is not mine to carry. I release and return with love to whoever it came from, always with love, because that way it's transmuted. I ask Archangel Michael to clear the cords and to remove any attachments that need to be there. I ask Archangel Raphael to come in and heal any wounds. But what I also do is I call back my power. I say, actually, any power I've inadvertently given away, anything that's been taken from me, I call back because it's mine. And I allow that to come back in. Yeah. And from that space, then once you're nice and cleansed and clear, you can then call back your energy and then put yourself in a beautiful bubble of light. Remembering as well that you're always connected to source. And any of you who have done the holy fire Reiki know that you are, as holy fire practitioners, you're always connected to that highest vibration of love, which means you don't need to have protection or walls in place because you're so full of light that you're holding that frequency of love. You still need to have sense and energetic hygiene, but we don't need to put walls of protection out of fear-based energy. So reclaim your energy as well, Susan. Rewrite the story as well. Sometimes if we focus too much on what we're letting go of, yeah, step into the narrative of what you're moving into, shift the narrative. What are we moving into, and start to focus on that story. Start to focus on what we want, focus on what we want, not what we don't want, and we start to draw that energy to us. Does that make sense? Maybe even try writing a letter to your future self, reminding you of the amazing life you're creating now. Or do it the other way and imagine your future self is writing back, thanking you for releasing all the shit so that you can move forward into the new life. Loads of lovely, lovely ways. Um, any thoughts of the past creeping in, you can create nice boundaries for yourself and say, that's not my reality right now. I am safe, I am free, I am free, I am free. Whatever affirmation you like to hold, Susan, so you can pull that back in. So let me know when you watch this, let me know that I'm not sure if you're with us live. I can't remember if you're here with us live. But you can let me know. I'm just going to check the chat for a little minute and see what else I have missed. Wendy says I yawn when releasing, especially for clients, and my eyes release tears, although I'm not crying. The weird thing is these tears sting as the way I am wearing mascara. Yeah, yeah. My eyes sting an awful lot lately. I have been joking to say I used to take the piss out of my mum a wee bit and say, "Why your eyes always sting and now mine sting?" It's like she's doing it deliberately from the other side. But that's how they're for your clients, yeah. Um, Natalie's practicing stamping and jumping when the anger comes up as part of the maturation healing. You're doing good. So many good ideas here. I'm going to have to watch this back. Good, Lynn. Good job. Okay, let me answer some more questions. So Anne had said, how can I distinguish between my intuition and my fear biases? Oh, that's a good question. Tomorrow's all about intuition, but let's dive into it a little bit tonight. Intuition and fear can feel very similar. Yeah. But there is a subtle difference. Okay. Intuition is very calm and quiet. Okay. Fear tends to be more urgent and louder. Okay. Um, Intuition tends to come in as a quiet knowing. We usually have to make a bit of space to hear the intuition because it's a small, quiet, still voice, usually. And it doesn't always make logical sense. In fact, it rarely makes logical sense, but it always feels very loving and grounded and calm. Fear, on the other hand, is fear tends to come from our head. There's a question as well. I'm going to talk about this a bit more tomorrow night about instinct versus intuition versus logical thought. Instinct is the thing that keeps us safe. So that is the thing that taps into that fear response, and it's the fight or flight response of, no, this is life threatening. That's an instinct. The instinctual need for self preservation, the instinctual need to feed yourself, the instinctual need to rest, the instinctual need for water, the instinctual need to, you know, form relationships and have, to procreate. It's an instinctual human need that we necessarily don't all follow. Not saying we have to go down those paths, but they're instincts that are hardwired into our being. Whereas intuition it's a more calm and etheric vibe. It's our connection. It's the reminder. It's that God voice within us again, that sovereign spirit speaking to us. But we have to get quiet to hear it. Yeah. Um, Fear tends to feel urgent and anxious and a bit panicked, and that you must do it right now, otherwise it's all going to go terribly wrong. So if that's the sort of thing that you're thinking is intuition, it's not. Intuition's so much more chill than that. It feels safe. Yeah. Intuition tends to also feel really expansive. It feels much more free. It's a little bit like the work you've been doing, and the feeling that you got in your sanctuary when you were stepping into the I am presence is the feeling of intuition. Whereas fear feels like contracting. Yeah. So if you have an inspired thought, an idea, a sensation, a knowing, and whatever, and like our intuition can come in lots of different ways. We'll talk about it tomorrow night with regards to, clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, all the different clairs. We'll chat about those tomorrow. Um, but if a thought or a choice feels like it opens you up, even if it feels a wee bit like, oh, squeaky bum, that's a wee bit scary, but it still makes you feel expanded, that's intuition. Yeah. If it makes you shrink and contract and hunch and go, oh, that's fear. Yeah. Remember as well, though, this is another little tip. Sometimes, sometimes fear is just excitement without the breath. And what I mean by that is breathe into that fear and see if it's still there. Because it lights up the same energy centers in the brain. Fear and excitement. Hi, Nadine. So just interesting for that. Another way that you can work this out, I don't know if you've ever done this, where you use your body as a pendulum. So you stand just really nicely relaxed and grounded, um, just holding yourself as relaxed as you can. Don't have your knees really locked, just nice, relaxed stance. And close your eyes and say a deep breath. Take a deep breath and say, you would say, my name is Anne. And you will notice that your body wants to move forward. And if you turn around and said, my name's Debbie, your body would want to move back because that's a lie for you. And your body notices these things and it moves subtly forward or subtly back, depending on whether it's for you or whether it's not for you. It's little subtle things. So you try that, use your body as a pendulum. But mainly, and the thing is to allow yourself intuition the space to speak. Yeah. It needs space. Okay, to come in, particularly whenever you're first learning to hear it. Once you're used to it and you know what it feels like in your body, then it's like, oh, it's my intuition speaking. It's like for me, my intuition comes in like an insistence, like a just a knowing, and it keeps. It's like a gentle nudge. It's like a parent just gently going this way, this way, this way. That's how it comes in for me. Natalie is saying for her, it's like excitement and a bit of a swirling in her stomach, but it's excitement, not fear. Yeah. Let me know, Anne, if that helps answer your question. And yes, Lynn, lots and lots and lots of good ideas in here. So do watch it back. Do watch it back. You'll hear something different every time. It will land differently. Okay, other Lisa that has asked a question, Lisa Horner. Procrastination is my biggest downfall. How can I move out of the putting things off mindset? How many procrastinators are in this group? Let me know. Drop me a two in the comments if you procrastinate. I think we've all done it. While I'm letting you drop your two, I'm just going to get a quick drink of water. Um, I'm glad it was helpful, Anne. Linda says intuition for me. Intuition floats in like glitter falling. Like glitter falling. Oh, I love that. Fear drops in your head through to your gut. Instinct is inside, then comes out. Absolutely. Lots of twos. Lots of twos. Lots of procrastinators in the room. Okay. You're not alone. Okay. Sometimes, in fact, more often than not, procrastination is a sign. Look at all those twos. And I'll tell you later. It's a two. Nice. Um, procrastination is usually either a sign that the thing that you're putting off feels overwhelming or unclear. So you're not sure, so you procrastinate, or there's a hidden resistance in there. So a fear of failure or a fear of success, perfectionism, having to have it perfect. Yeah, perfectionists in the room. Drop me a three if you're a bit of a perfectionist, that it has to be perfect before it can be out there. I'm a recovering perfectionist. Now I actually have probably gone the other way. It's just like done is better than just get it out. It's just done. It's so much more liberating. For me, I notice procrastination comes in, Lisa, when I don't know, if it's unclear, if it's a bit it's like a procrastination pandemic. It really is, isn't it? There's a perfectionist pandemic coming in now too. Look at all these threes coming in. The two go very, the two are linked hand in hand, procrastination and perfectionism. And perfectionism is really just an excuse to stop you taking action. I know it's really harsh, but it is. The very act of perfectionism is an excuse that stops you taking action because, and then it holds you back and it allows you to play small. And yes, Nadine, you are always tweaking, always. Nadine is one of my members in Soul Food Circle and Soulpreneur Space, and she will tell you that I'm always telling her off. I'm like, just get it out, put it out, stop putting it off. And she's like, no, I just need to tweak. And I'm like, put it out, just do the thing. It doesn't have to be perfect, make it work. So a couple of things we can do. Whatever you're procrastinating about, tell yourself maybe you'll just do 5 minutes of it. So that works very well for tasks, like physical tasks that you don't want to do. So, you know, it's like even like breaking the big task down into something smaller. So you might get really overwhelmed and procrastinate about tidying up. And it's like, well, you know what? I'll just tidy that corner. I'll just tidy that drawer. I'll just lift those things up and put them away. Yeah. Yes, the procrastination expert we had in the circle, he was brilliant. Who was that? Was that race? I can't sure we've had so many experts, the procrastination guy. Was that was that Liam that we had in recently? Liam Celtic Lion Liam? I can't remember. It might have been. I started procrastinating when I stopped living freely. I cared just as much, but went with my intuition. Yeah, interesting. Procrastination can also be like when you're saying you started procrastinating when you stopped living freely because you weren't being true to yourself. You stopped doing, you started procrastinating because it wasn't what you really wanted to do. So there was inner resistance coming up. Yeah. Identify that resistance. And this goes for everybody. So try a 5 minute rule. I'll do something for 5 minutes and just see if it can, because once you get started, often the momentum will carry you through. Um, once you, yes, that was Liam, the Scottish guy. Um, once you start something, if you can tell yourself, I'll just do it for 5 minutes, then sometimes once you get started, that gets you over the initial hump. Sometimes having accountability helps as well, telling somebody you're going to do it. Yeah. Doing it in a different space, a different environment. Yeah. Change your surroundings, change that feedback loop. Sometimes what I will do, one of the things I'll procrastinate an awful lot on is whenever I'm going down into the studio to paint. And if I don't have it all set up ready to go, I will procrastinate because I'm like, well, I haven't mixed my paint. I'll maybe just read my book instead. Whereas if I know I'm going to go down to the studio the next day, what I set myself up for success by mixing my palette the night before so that it's ready to go when I walk down so I can't procrastinate. So it's about setting yourself up for success by noticing when you do it. So it'd be interesting to know, Lisa, what is it you're procrastinating on? Because it might different things, yeah. Um, but identify the resistance. Ask yourself, why am I resisting this? By resisting this, what am I protecting myself for? They make it sound so easy. It's not easy. It's just I've been doing it for a long time and I'm a coach, so I kind of have to walk my talk now. But I still procrastinate too. My mentor, I have a mentor. See, this is the thing. I'm very much of the, there's no point to me telling you guys or suggesting to you guys that you come in and work, for example, with me in the circle and have a coach, right? And be in a supportive coaching space if I'm not in one. So I'm in a couple of different, I have a couple of different coaches and mentors for different things. And it's funny, I tend to procrastinate when I'm frightened, when I'm not sure. But I'm not sure what I'm doing and I don't know the answer. If I am a little bit frightened about doing it, or if the gap between where I am and where I want to be feels too far, then I'll procrastinate. But that's where my mentor, my coach comes in and then goes, right, okay, let's work on this. And that's why it's important to have a coach. That's why it's important to have a space where you can come in and go, right, okay. Because like let me know, the circle members in the chat here tonight, let me know in the circle, folks, when you're procrastinating and you bring it into the circle, how do we help? We tend to hold each other and we honor it and we're like, okay, well, what's holding you back? What's the crack? What's going on? What are you frightened of? And you can verbalize and work through it. And you tend then once you verbalize and talk through it, you realize, okay, do you know, I'm scared of doing this in case I get it wrong. Or, do you know, I'm actually scared of doing this in case it really goes well. And all of a sudden, like I'm really successful at it. And shit, now I have to actually show up and do the thing. Fear of success can be just as massive, if not bigger, than fear of failure. Yeah. Do these resonate? Um, Procrastination, though, is just unprocessed energy. Yeah. It's energy that's stuck. So once we look at why it's stuck and what's holding it back, and we can then work to release it, then it's like we release the dam and the energy flows. We just need to figure out what the dam is, and that dam will be different for everybody. But it's usually perfectionism, fear of failure, fear of success, something along those lines. Yeah. Um, Yeah, Nadine says in the circle, it's very supportive, good listeners. When you talk it through, it lifts the heaviness, and that's often all it takes. So sometimes I'll be the same with mine. Like I'll go into my coach, and I'll be like, listen, I am putting this off. I know you've told me to, go and have, go and do X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, no. And she'll be like, why? What's holding you back? And then we'll talk it through, and then it lifts the heaviness. And then sometimes I cry, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm crying. And she's like, well, it's okay. It's what I'm here for. Yeah, because sometimes we get so emotional whenever we start to, and then it maybe triggers a limiting belief from some other time, or it maybe triggers a money script, or it maybe triggers a childhood trauma, or it maybe triggers something else, and that's why we're procrastinating because we're maybe um our brain, our body's trying to our sort of self-protective self is trying to protect us from a perceived danger, and it feels dangerous to move ahead, so we procrastinate. Does that make sense, Lisa? Let me know if you're watching, and if you catch this on the replay. If you're not watching live, you can let me know. But I think I saw you earlier on. And I think there was one other question. Denise, who can't be here tonight live, so this is for replay for her. So I'll just take a wee note that it was about 50 odd minutes in. Um, how can I discover my guides and know who's there? Big question. And again, we'll talk a little bit more tomorrow night about intuition and about leaning into this. But Essentially, your guides are always, they're always with you, whether you're consciously aware of them or not. It's just about tuning into their energetic frequency and tuning into their presence. And again, tomorrow I want to dive into this a bit more about the different clairs. So the clairvoyance, the clairaudience, all the different ways we sense and experience energy. Um, Lisa, makes good, absolute sense. Fear of not doing a good job. Yeah. Okay. So journal on that. Where's that come from? It probably comes from childhood, from being told maybe, you have to be a good girl, you have to do this and do it well, and unrealistic expectations that are put on us, or then we set on ourselves. So it's really interesting. But I'm glad it helps. Um, but your guides are always with you, whether you're consciously aware of them or not. And it's not about finding them, it's about allowing them to make their presence felt. There's an awful lot of allowing and surrendering and leaning in and relaxing. I think people think all this work has to be really hard and they're constantly pushing at it. And it's like, no, no, no. Just, it's like you're trying to push the doors whenever they're pull doors, just like open them and let the person come in. Yeah. Um, so ways you can connect, you can, like, meditation's the key one, but you can ask for a sign. Either before you go to sleep or during meditation, set a really clear intention. Intention is the key here. I am open to connecting with my highest guides. Please show me a clear sign of your presence. Show me something that I can recognize and understand. And then it's up to you to watch for those signs and those synchronicities. I remember when I very first when I did my Reiki 1 way back in 2011, and I asked my Reiki 1 and 2, and I asked for a sign of I wanted to know who my Reiki guide was going to be. And I immediately in my mind heard the name Michael, and I just went, yeah, right. Okay, if your name's really Michael, then I want a sign that I will understand. And bear in mind, I'm not very observant. This was my conversation I was having. I'm not very observant when it comes to these things. So I'm talking billboards, flashing lights, the heap, make it really obvious. Thought no more of it, got into the car on my way home from Belfast, from where I was learning, and Michael Jackson was playing on the radio, and I started to laugh and I went, no, I don't think so. I told you I wanted proper, really clear sign. Driving home, and on the way home, I passed a massive big billboard, and the name Michael was being put up on the board. And I started to laugh, and I went, well, I did ask for a billboard. There it is. And then later on that night, I was like, one more sign, and I'll believe your name's Michael. And later on that night, nothing happened for a few more hours. Got the kids up to bed, sorted all that out, was sitting watching TV, and I flicked was just flicking through the channels. Nothing was on. We had Sky at the time, and I hit the backup button on the Sky remote, and it went on to whatever channel had been previously on, and it was a program about star children, and the little boy was called Michael. So I was like, okay. So it's about asking for the signs and then seeing them come in. Yeah. And watching for these synchronicities. But you can also do guided meditations, Denise. You can go journeying. You can set an intention to meet these guides. Just don't force it. I think sometimes we try and force it so much. And remember, this is a relationship you're building with these guides. So it's not about going in. Quite often we go into meditation and we're like, I want to meet my guide. And we sit there and we're waiting. And it's like, well, if you showed up for a chat with your friend and you were just like, right, talk to me, your friend would be like, well, what do you want to know? Well, what's crack? So at least say hello. Do you know what I mean? At least say hello. At least start a conversation. It's a conversation. It's a two-way street, yeah. So you can use automatic writing. I know, Natalie, you like a wee bit of automatic writing, where that is, you just allow yourself to be. I can hear Raven wanting in, a cat, but if I get up to let her in, she'll not come in, which is meowing at the door here because she can hear me talking to you. Um, you know, you can write down a question maybe before you start to meditate, and then come out of your meditation and just allow yourself to write whatever comes in and see if there's any messages in there. Pay attention to your dreams. With regards to who it is, just allow yourself to tune into all the senses. Do you sense any energy? Do you sense it? Do you get a tingle? Like when Michael comes to talk, I haven't been really working with Michael so much since I've done the Holy Fire, but when I was doing my Usui Reiki, I always felt Michael used to come in from behind me and put his hands on my shoulders. I've been working with different guides at the moment, and they come in different ways. So they usually have a calling card. Um, again, Denise, in the circle, we have there's a spirit guide session that Jessica Pashke did back in 2023, I want to say it is. It's in the guest expert section, so it's really, really good. You can pick that up in the circle because you're already in there. Always just check in that whoever, if you do sense energy, just checking in, making sure it's coming from your highest self, making sure you're in a sacred space, you're grounding, you're protecting. Just remember that just because somebody's in spirit doesn't mean that they're all love and light. Okay, so just be careful who you're connecting to. Only guides of the highest and greatest good may come in, for my highest light. And it just depends. Remember, spirit doesn't have form. Spirit takes on form that we understand. So sometimes, if you're very used to if you've been brought up in a particular tradition or a particular religion, or you come from a particular culture, your guides may show up in alignment with that. So you may have people showing up like Mother Mary, you might have people showing up like Jesus, you might have people showing up like Native Americans, you might have nuns, you might have monks, you might have shamans, you might have all different, physical appearances that might come through as animals. Yeah, might come through as plant energy. It's different every time, so don't expect them to look a certain way, don't necessarily expect them to have a name, you don't always need to know the name either. Okay, so hopefully that helps, Denise. What I would normally say is, what do I need to know right now, or what are you here to help me with? Because guides will come through for different reasons. I would urge you, Denise, to go into the circle and find the spirit guide session that Jessica Pashke did in October 2023, because that will be full of all the answers that you need. So let me know if that helps once you catch this. Have we any more questions that you want me to answer before I take us into tonight's? I'm just aware of time. I've been talking at you for an hour. Um, Let me know if you've any more questions. I want to take us into a lovely sacred fire purification meditation just to release anything that needs to go, but just want to make sure I've answered all your questions. Then you've never heard of automatic writing? Yeah, we do. We did a wee bit of it in the circle. Sometimes we do like development sessions in the circle. Must get back to them. Um, and when you do your meditations, they always appear in animals. Yeah, animal energy is lovely. I love working with animal guides. I work with a lot of animal guides too. And I know that a lot of my clients do as well. I know that I'm not sure if Karen's here tonight, but Karen, one of our circle members, she works physically with a lot of animals, and I know that in life she's more comfortable with animals than people. So quite often that can be the way. Give me a 1 in the comments if you are ready to do a little sacred fire meditation just to allow yourself to release anything that needs to go. Give me a wee 1. I'll have a drink. I'm just going to double check that I haven't missed any other notifications. Nobody else is trying to get into the group or anything like that. Let me just double check. Good stuff. Alrighty, getting a few ones all ready to go. Alrighty. So, as always, if it is safe for you to do so, if you're not driving, you're not working, usual caveats apply. All right. I invite you to make yourself comfortable and just close your eyes if you can. And I invite you just to begin to arrive home inside yourself. Just take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it for a moment. And then slowly exhale through your mouth. And just do that twice more at your own pace, breathing in, holding, and then releasing. But try and breathe out for a little bit longer than you breathe in. Allow your shoulders to drop. Allow your jaw to soften. Let yourself fully settle into this space, giving yourself permission to be here now because there's nowhere else you need to be right now. From this calm and relaxed space that we find ourselves in this safe circle that we are together in, I invite you to imagine, feel, sense, know in whatever way works for you, to imagine yourself standing in a vast open space. It is twilight, and the air around you feels charged with energy, filled with possibility. And up ahead, you notice a powerful, sacred fire burning. The flames flicker and dance, golden, white, violet, multi-dimensional flames, not burning with destruction, but with pure divine transformational energy, a multi-dimensional flame. This fire is here for you. It is safe, sacred, and all-knowing. It does not judge. It only transmutes. You take a step closer, feeling the warmth of the flames on your skin. Not too hot, not too cold, just perfectly alive. This fire is here to help you release, to help you burn away the old and to make way for the new. Just breathe for a few moments as you observe this flame, this fire. And I invite you now to call forward any energy, any beliefs, any patterns, any weights that you are finally ready to release. Maybe a limiting belief, an old wound, a past version of yourself or identity that no longer fits who you are becoming. Allow it to rise to the surface now. Don't force it. Just trust and allow that whatever comes up is exactly what you need to let go of in this moment. And imagine this energy forming into words on a piece of paper that has appeared in your hands. You notice the words appearing and forming. Maybe it's self-doubt, fear of failure, fear of being good enough, old pain, attachments, whatever it is, let it fully take shape in front of you. Feel it, recognize it, and thank it for whatever lessons it has brought. And now step forward. Hold out your hands and drop that into the fire. Watch as the flames consume it instantly, not with destruction, but with deep, powerful transformation. The energy is not lost, it's simply transformed into light. It's gone, released, no longer yours to carry. Breathe in the space you have just created. Feel lighter, freer, unburdened. Just notice how you feel as you stand before this sacred fire. I invite you to imagine now the golden flames, the multidimensional colours shifting and swirling, gathering, forming into a ball of pure glowing energy. This energy holds everything that you are calling into yourself: strength, clarity, power, freedom. It is yours. It is yours. It is yours. Reach out your hands and pull this light into your heart space. Let it fill you from the inside out like a golden sun rising within you. Feel it expanding through your entire being, from your heart up into your throat and into your head, down into your solar plexus and tummy, down your arms, your fingertips, down your legs to your toes, all the way through every part of your entire being. You are no longer bound by what was. You are clear, open, and ready to step fully into who you are meant to be. Remember who you truly are. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, place your hands over your heart. Now, either silently or out loud, repeat these affirmations. I release what no longer serves me. I step forward with strength, clarity, and power. I am light. I am free. I am whole. I claim my true self fully and fearlessly. I serve my highest self unconditionally. And just breathe that in, slowly beginning to bring your awareness back to the here and now, feeling your body, your breath, the energy coursing through your body. And when you're ready, you can take one final deep breath, stretching and saying, I am free, I am free, I am free, I am here now, grounded and centered. I am back. When you feel ready, you can open your eyes, fully transformed, fully released, and back in the room. And just let me know how you're feeling. Take a little moment, perhaps if you want to write anything down. Really just, my eyes are stinging now, so clearly something's releasing. I love it. Let me know how you're feeling. Let me know that you're all back in the space, in the room. Let me know how. Drop me a word or a couple of comments. Let me know how you're feeling after that. Just going to read the comments from earlier. Natalie had said that I brought the spirit animals to her. It's my shamanic energy. Yeah. Kira, don't worry. I know you're trying to get your two to bed so you can join in. You can always watch the replay later. Very peaceful, says Wendy, and says I feel tired and the right side of my neck is hurting, but I feel lighter. Interesting. Okay, so journal maybe on that, work out maybe why the right side. Maybe there's stuff that needs to be released there. Okay. Interesting. Wendy's feeling peaceful. You're so welcome. So let me know, folks, how you're all doing. Make sure you all have plenty of water, okay? We're doing a lot of energetic releasing. It can take a little bit of time to come back. Okay, it can also take a little bit of time just to settle back in. So plenty of water as the evening goes on, plenty of just leaning into that, grounding your energy. If you feel a bit spacey, just saying, I am here now, I am grounded, I am centered. Let me know how you're feeling. A couple of journal prompts if you want them as well to think about. What does your life look like now that you're not carrying all that old weight? And what is this lovely new energy that you're stepping into? Nice things to journal on as part of this. Leslie's feeling relaxed and peaceful. Nice. Nice, nice. That's good. What I want to remind you all of, folks, is that releasing stuff isn't just a one-time practice. It's something that we do repeatedly, okay? But it's about continually noticing and being mindful of our energy and releasing and accepting and moving forward. So it's really, really good. Lynn says, feeling good. However, sometimes I feel like I'm forcing what I need to release too much. Do I have too many things, or am I just not present enough, or just not switched off enough? Difficult to answer, insofar as I don't know what's going on, but sometimes we do feel like we want to force it. What I would suggest you do is repeat this, working on one thing at a time, Lynn, and see if that helps, and let go of one thing. Quite often, sometimes what you might find, if you imagine like all this stuff, like it's creating the wall, it's creating the dam that's holding the energy back. And as you're starting to release it, it might be that you release one thing, and maybe that one thing doesn't do much, but then you release the next thing, and that's been the brick that's held the whole wall together. And when you remove that one, it all comes down. So I would tend to try and work on one thing at a time, because that way then you don't feel like you're forcing it, if that makes sense. Anna says it was intense to watch burning all the things that you released. Nice. Natalie says, my flame was purple and I started chanting. I could hear the drum. I was releasing embarrassment and shame. Good. These emotions have been coming up as part of your healing journey recently. I love that. Lisa says, thank you so much for that. You're so welcome. When I was young, my dad pushed me to enter a talent show. On stage, I was scared and felt like I'd disappointed him. In the meditation, I saw little girls with flower rings on their head dancing around. I joined them in Ring a Ring of Roses. I asked my dad if he's proud of me. He said, always, and I'm still crying now. Such a release. Oh, that's so beautiful. Wow, it's lovely. Joanne's knackered. You will be. This work is, you might not think you're doing much, but you're actually doing loads energetically. You're so welcome, Lynn. Okay. Trish physically felt my throat chakra release. Thank you. You're so welcome. You're so welcome. I'm loving these. Good job. Good job. All right, folks. So I am so pleased that so many of you got lots and lots out of that. Keep your comments coming if they're still coming. Keep them coming. Um, please, for the rest of the evening, go easy on yourself, or the afternoon, wherever you may be. Okay. It's really, really important. You're welcome, Leslie. And said, I did let go of judgment towards myself, feeling ugly and unworthy, and that felt good. Good. I could see the piece of paper turn black and then immediately turn into white healing energy. Gorgeous. Love it. So, as I say, this is a practice that you can do repeatedly. Releasing's not just a one-time event. Get into a practice of doing it. Sometimes as well, if you want, you can bring it into the lunar cycle. On the full moon, when the moon is big and full in the sky, it's often a really good time to release. And then perhaps whenever there is no moon in the sky and it's completely, a new moon, and for 3 days we don't see a moon, at that time, maybe that's whenever you start to think about what you want to bring in, so we can do things like that as well. Nadine, you were interrupted. You'll catch up tomorrow. That's okay. That's okay. This replay will be immediately available in the group within maybe 5 or 10 minutes anyway. So as and when you have time, just go ahead. You're very welcome. And you're welcome, Linda. Tomorrow, let me tell you a little bit about what to expect, and then I'll let you go, because I know you've been with me for nearly 90 minutes now, so I'm sure you're all sick and tired of hearing me. Tomorrow is Wednesday. We're day three, tomorrow. So Tomorrow is my favorite day because, well, I love all of it because this is brand new. This has been put together brand newly, and I think the energy in this experience has been much higher, much more profound. I think there's been bigger shifts this time around, and I'm so here for it. But tomorrow is all about you leaning into your intuition. There is no meditation to download tomorrow, so this is on you tomorrow to work with your own practice. Okay, I want to try and sort of take the training wheels off now and let you do your thing, okay, without necessarily having me as a meditation guide. We'll do a little bit of work tomorrow night, like we always do. But there's no meditation to look for tomorrow. So just in case you're looking for one tomorrow, there won't be one. There will literally be the email that comes out tomorrow and the task thread. The email and the task thread are both identical. So the email tells you what you need and the task thread tells you what you need. The task thread has the video. Yeah, I'll be telling you a little bit about the task, but essentially it will be to ask a question, try and find out something that you want to know, and then we're going to use cards. You can use angel cards, oracle cards, tarot cards. If you don't have any of those things, you can use playing cards if you have them. You can use a book, flicking through a book or a magazine and just let your eyes fall on a picture or a phrase. So if you don't have cards, you can do it that way, okay? Or you can look for signs out in the outside world. Tomorrow night as well, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the circle and about how you can come and join us if you want to as well. But I will tell you a little bit more about that tomorrow night because I'm sure you're all tired now. And if you're up for it, you can let me know if you're up for it. Once I've told you a little bit about the circle, then we'll do a little bit of a dive into reading the cards and I'll do a little bit of a card masterclass. Does that sound good? So if you are liking the sound of that, I will see you tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. So same time, same place. But your task tomorrow will go live at 6 a.m. But essentially it is about tuning into your cards or your tools, whatever you like to use, to get an answer and lean into your intuition. So I'm excited for tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit more then about developing that intuition muscle, about your clairvoyance, your clairaudience, all those different things. So Lynn says, I have cards that a relative have given me to borrow. How do I cleanse them or do nothing so as not to upset their owner's energy? Um, I would just hold the cards, Lynn, to your heart and just ask them to work with you tomorrow. And that would be all I would do. Okay. There's no need to do anything more than that at this point. Okay. Just simply hold them, set an intention. Sometimes what I do with them as well is I would hold the cards and maybe just set an intention and then blow across them, be like, blow the energy away so that it's, your energy. The person who owns the cards will re-establish their connection with them. Okay. And as Natalie says, you can use sound, you can knock on them. I do tend to do that. When I'm lifting my cards, I'll tend to like knock on them just to knock energy out of them. It's just a wee habit I have. Sound's a good one too. You can also clap your hands over them. You're so welcome, Wendy. And you're welcome, Lynn. Wendy's looking forward to tomorrow. It's all good. I'm looking forward to tomorrow too. It's my favorite. I will be coming to you. I'm going to try my best to get the technology to play ball so that I can share my screen tomorrow and show you because I want to show you inside the circle so that you can see what it is and you can make an informed decision as to whether you want to step in and join us or not. And then we'll go through and we'll do a little bit of a tarot masterclass because it's one of my favorite things to play with. Thank you so much for all being here tonight. It has been amazing. I can't believe that we've spent nearly 90 minutes together. It has flown in. As always, make sure you use the Q&A thread tomorrow as well. So your task thread will go up at 6. Your Q&A thread will come out at 2 o'clock. Again, ask your questions. Let's go down some rabbit holes and see where it takes us. But if they're card related questions, even better tomorrow so that we can tie it into our session. Tomorrow night's session might be a wee tiny bit longer just because I'm going to tell you about the circle as well. But I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good night. See you later.